to see him up there. I didn't dare say anything to him because they might look at me and then relinquish the bow and then fall to the ground, and by God, I don't want that. But that tree is as big as the one here in Helen's front yard. And the little rascals on top of that. That's how we learn to grow, I guess. They finally spotted me up here. They don't know it, but they're gonna film for posterity, you see. I'm much of a good cameraman here. It's so hard to, I'm too high in the sky now. So they're taking 2 or 3 roofs off, I think at least 3 roofs of Helen's. And because it's a 50-some-year-old building, you know. And so through the years they put tabs on, over tabs, over tabs, over tabs. A lot of rain here in Washington this year was 6 inches more than a record of all time, recorded history. So you can tell we get quite a bit of rain here. Whatever it was 65 inches, 66 inches, something like that. Was a lot of rain. So they need a good roof. So they got to get shovels, and I'm zooming in, getting these, because they used good nails in those days, I guess. It's still good to use nails today, too. So as I understand, they'll put plywood over that eventually, and then they earn their money. They work hard, these kids, they really do. And we all worked hard. That's how we got where we are. Never afraid of work. During the shipyard days, I remember working on top of the, building all the ways down there. It made me pretty nervous. Never wasn't very much for heights. In Helena, Montana in 1935, I helped lowering the spires on the Catholic church there, and they were 135 feet high. And man, I was hanging on a lot, I'll guarantee you that. But eventually they got it down to a structural strength because that earthquake there was such a bad quake. And half of the city of Helen was down. Quite a few people killed. Couldn't see really the sun for several days with a big yellow clay dust all over the city. Buildings were down, and different time of our life. Well, I filmed enough here and talked enough, so I'm going to turn this off and going to see what Helen's up to. She's probably in the back field there somewhere.
Just sing to me about the best years of our lives.
Okay.
Okay?
If I can remember.
So Roy Rogers and Dale Evans on television, and Helen's on the telephone.
Thank you for sharing the best years of my life.
Oh, Dale's got a beautiful voice here, isn't he?
For being my best friend and my wife. And though sometimes the trail was rough, we'd always make it through.
Eternally, I'm grateful
that God blessed me with you.
It's the voice.
Great lady.
She's older. She's
Why not?
Yeah, I told him that. Yeah, well.
We don't hear it down here and care less.
And then after we get I get all this done, then I'm going to call that
Filming the
tree
roof.
man and have him come and trim my trees right there. But I'm not going to have the same guy I had before because he charged too much and didn't do anything hardly.
Yeah, well, it's tough to get a good help, sis.
Well, I got
It's
it
tough
out of
to
the
get
messenger. I got it out of the messenger, and I thought, well, out of the messenger, it was for oaks, didn't cut very
Didn't
many.
progress enough.
Yeah, for $265, you could cut a lot of wood off, couldn't
I'm in the back here now. I'm telling those stories for posterity. You remember the time I put apples on this tree for you and Paul?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Don't you remember that? You came back from,
Seems like I kind of do. Well, why don't you see my
you kind of come back from your honeymoon, and then I went down to Safeways and got some delicious apples and put on the tree, hung them up with a little thread. And Paul was so naive, he thought that because we'd gone to Myron Frank's, and we got some fertilizer, liquid fertilizer.
And put them on?
And we dug big, I got my electric drill on my brace and bit and drilled holes in the ground, and we fertilized the tree. And the tree done real pretty good, and then he thought that they grew because we put the fertilizer on it. And he was so happy, and you told him how could it be that way because it's a gravacine tree and those are delicious apples, he said. So Helen's dragging stuff away now. You cleaning up the backyard here a little bit.
Why not? I'll show you my garden.
She wants to show her garden, so I have to progress now.
I cut this off the front.
Who the hell's got more energy than the Morrisons, huh? She disappeared from view now. But I will catch up to her
My garden is not anything compared to
after I get through the...
I was so late putting it in.
It's all right, so what, Helen?
Well, you'll when you see it. The corn's about 2 inches.
Well, as long as it gets to the middle of July, enough to eat
Knee high by the 4th of
every
July.
year.
It'll never make it.
The ears aren't too big, but they're awful good. The little kernels.
Did you see how they cut everything off?
Oh yeah, you bet.
I mean they mowed this the other day. Yeah, dog.
And they were,
But we
that's-
take good care of it. You know.
of course you do, sis. Better than anybody in the valley.
Well, it's look at how it's done.
Your neighbor rototilled that, huh, sis? Is that right?
Yeah. This was rototilled by Mary's brother-in-law. Mary Mathis' brother-in-law rototilled this year. But you see, it was real late. This was raining all the time. Jeff would have done it, but
It was too muddy for him when he come down with his tractor, didn't he?
yeah, it was real hard. Yeah, it was
Yeah, a
terrible.
little muddy.
And we had to wait so long.
So I'm,
Just moved this the other day.
I'm filming the hollyhocks now,
Isn't that pretty? The
but
holly?
they're only 6 feet tall. They'll get about 8 or 9, won't they, sis?
I guess so.
And I'm going to film the sunflower, and that'll be 9 feet tall too, huh, eventually.
Yeah. And I put a whole bunch of them over there.
One time I had a little sunflower in the backyard, and Liz and I went to Canada, and I had a bag of fertilizer, and I put it on that, opened it up, put it on the sunflower, and turned the hose on, let the hose drip into it,
Yeah.
and we were gone about almost 2 weeks, and we come back, that damn sunflower's up about 12 feet high.
My gosh.
The head was as big as a garbage can lid.
Oh my.
I got pictures of that.
Yeah.
It was just like Jack and the Beanstalk, went clean to the top of the sky.
I bet Elizabeth laughed.
Oh God, it was amazing.
She did a kick out of that.
I weighed the head of it, it weighed 30 pounds, the sunflower. Weighed on my bathroom scale.
I thought maybe these trees would grow again, the ones they cut down, but they didn't.
They'll grow, but from the roots they won't grow up anymore.
Yeah, no, they're gone. But it's still awfully pretty out here. I enjoy it.
Oh hell yes, Helen, this is a home away from home here.
They've already started. I mean, they're going to build over here. They've put in a lot of.
I'm waiting to film the field, because one of these days, if we film again, there'll be big warehouses down here, and this will be the last chance you got to see
Yeah, see, they're going to, I think, build out this way.
the civilization.
But,
So Helen living here for a century.
yeah, 40,
She knows where every weed is and whatever.
it'll be 44 years, Bob.
44 years now, huh?
The 1st of August. See, this is a.
The song says, I wonder where the yeller went when I stopped using Pepsodent.
Now this is a Granny Smith apple tree. Look at how the roses grew up in it.
Yeah, I know, the wild roses, huh? They smell so good, the wild roses.
They really are more perfumy. I wonder if they're looking for me.
No, somebody over there.
No, I can hear them talking over here. So they found me out here in the garden this morning.
Why not?
I'm just going to peek and see.
Helen thinks she heard
See.
I don't know what they would be calling her for from the rooftops. I'm filming a hat now, but there's nobody underneath it, just a stick. And I don't know if that's supposed to scare the crows or the squirrels or help you find your hat to put on your head if you can find your head. Miss my garden up there. I had a big garden up there in Columbia Street, a huge garden. Mr. Poe and I, we had to put it all together. And all
The corn, it'll be okay though. Oh, I just found a history of Moss, whole history that Jimmy had written, and the front of it he prescribed it. He always told me when he died he wanted on his grave, "Don't talk about me when I'm gone." And the little poem.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you have something good to say. And I thought, well, I should really send that to Larry. So you know, Jimmy probably told him.
I got that little picture. I think I told you tonight. Jim, I'm just guessing he's about 23. Just a little tiny snapshot I got of Jim.
Of Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just a young man.
Yeah, there's Jimmy. I hate to think of him living gone, but you know, they didn't know I'm suffering either.
Helen, that's thank God for that. If you
Yeah. And they were all with him. He wasn't alone.
I had a friend of mine I played tennis with for 14 years,
Yeah.
and he died of sleep, and I said, by God, what a good way to go.
Oh.
Went to heaven and went to dumped in the arms of Jesus Christ, didn't suffer.
The only thing is you miss him though.
Oh yeah,
It's
damn right I do.
Us that are left here, 'cause they're.
Yeah, there's always a vacuum, Helen. No
Yeah.
kidding.
I have a vacuum for my dog.
You
I'm
sure
looking
you
for
do?
that dog all the time.
You will. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm looking for him right now when I'm filming this, Helen.
No,
Where do you used to, any special place he used to go?
well, he used to come out here a lot.
I mean, any special place, any tree he would lay, or
No,
sometimes they do that.
yeah,
You don't
no, he just.
find where they live, or not live, but comfortable, you know, just like it
yeah,
there. They got better visibility sometimes, and
And he
more
liked the
vibrations.
tall grass, too, and on a hot day,
There.
he'd get up there. Oh, birds.
And they're pretty good at finding.
And they're after the cherries already. There's a few cherries up there. That's a cherry tree that came up by itself.
The only thing gets me that they always get the cherries before we do, huh?
Yeah.
You bet, the rascal.
Well, I'm glad they left this little patch here anyhow.
Helen, it was a blessing for you.
It
You
was.
bet.
Well, see, I told him about the rose bushes and about the
Mhm.
apple trees, but before, and he said, well,
Well, it's because you know why he done that? He's got compassion. He's got a heart.
yeah, he's.
See, some jerks would deliberately turn it over and make it visible for you, but the human beings make it easy for you if they
Well,
can.
I called him Mr. Miller. His
Huh?
name is Mr. Anderson. I called him Mr.
I know.
Miller. His name was Mr. Anderson. I thought, well, that's the end of me, but no, he was.
Well, that way all, is it?
He didn't hold it against me. I
Why
knew
would
I
he?
was old and forgetful.
Most of us old people are nostalgic. You know, we like to think of the riverbank or the we caught the fish or sit on a bunch of nettles or
Right.
or got some rose bushes, thorns in our hand we didn't mean to.
Got a whole crop of sunflowers here. I put them all together. I dig them all up and stick them there. See, and there'll be a nice bunch of them there.
I never forget one time my mother and I was coming out to Montana and we drove through Kansas and far as you could see was sunflowers.
Oh, I bet.
They was 15, 18 feet high, millions of them. Just,
Some great big heads.
oh, just as far as you could see was the sunflowers.
Probably take care of all the parrots and
Well,
birds in the country.
they're a great food, you know, for everybody. Great oil and sunflowers. Everything's valuable. You just got to find out what the hell's worth for you, you know. Because I was a little kid, I lived down in Monticello, Iowa with my Aunt Myrtle and Lorraine and Doyle and Shirley. But the farmer down there, he raised corn. And we were warned many times not to go down there too far because you get lost. Because the corn was 15, 18 feet high as far as you could see. And we used to go down there and listen to the corn growing. It was very spooky.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a squeaking sound. You ever pull grass between your fingers? Or,
Yes.
but it's that kind of whispery. And the old fireflies were flying. That guy had a 100-foot well, and we put watermelon in a basket, and then we'd put it down at the bottom of the well on a big rope, and leave it down there for a week or so. And then, of course, they were ice cold, and they had picnics and stuff. And I had happy times in Iowa too. I really did. And my Aunt Myrtle, she was such a good lady.
Nice to, yeah.
She was.
I still feel so bad for John Harper.
Sure.
I mean, you know, he still had, you know, a lot of, he'd be 79.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I hope he's better. Oh,
See, the time I took old Johnny Hansen back there to Montana, you know, the rodeo, and visited Harper's, and so he'll invite us out for dinner or supper, and he's got a big stew or something, as I recall, and of course John's always been my friend, you know.
oh, yes.
I told him, I said, you tie that damn railroad job up, John, and get the hell out of here. And he jumped up and started pounding the table and scared the hell out of old Johnny Hansen.
He said what?
Scared Johnny because he said, I'm getting damn tired of people telling me to quit. I said, John, I'm not telling you to quit. I'm telling you, the guy that wants you to quit wants your damn job. I said, the guys that are giving you a hard time want that throttle. But I said, I tell you what, the two little ribbons of steel don't go anywhere. Right down that track. And I said, you better find some time with Hilda because it's quicker than you think. But he pounded the old table and the old stew jumped up. And old Johnny, I was trying to explain to John that old Harper was my friend, and I said, we can talk like this, John, because he's not mad at me. He just tells his point of view, and he said, you always got a point of view.
Did you get an invitation to Johnny's wedding?
Oh, yes.
I did too. Only a few people got them.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they're not inviting everybody. But Linda said they may have a kind of reception or something for everybody later on.
Yeah, it's for the letter of the invitations.
Yeah, they're not having too many at the invitation. I think just mostly old people. I don't know.
It's old fuddy, huh?
Well, they're going to have, I think, her mother and myself and you. And I don't know who else.
I suppose Joanne.
I don't know.
Just guessing.
No, I don't think so. I think she's
Oh, is that
gonna
right?
have
I
something
don't
for
know.
them later. I think it's going
It's
to be...
all right. We're going to have my picnic anyway.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a little, you know, kind of a,
Sure, it's
a
okay.
little wedding, and then, because she's been married before, and then have something big for her after.
Well, I'm happy for them, you bet.
Oh, I am too, and they've got babies, beautiful.
Oh, they are. Sierra's very sweet. Of course, the little girl, Brittany,
Handsome. That kid's a handsome.
Brittany, so she said, are you my grandpa? And I said, sure am, honey. she,
Nice.
she is a sweet little thing. She's very intelligent. So the other day when she was down, Sierra was sick. She had a bad cold.
Who's that? Oh, the little
The
Brit.
little girl, she was bad.
Whatever her name is.
Her name is Sierra. It's not whatever her name
Oh,
is.
the new baby.
You're right.
What's the other little...
Brittany.
Brittany.
Yeah. I don't really get a name like Brigitta, you know, his mother's name, but I'm just
They
not.
were named their kid. What are those men that make clothes for you? What do you call them? Not carpenters, but
Taylor?
What?
A Taylor?
Taylor. They named the kid Taylor. Taylor. For a girl, a little girl, Taylor. Ooh, somebody's
Well, it wouldn't be T-A-I-L-E-R, it'd be T-A-Y-L-O-R, you see.
I don't know how they spell it, Bob, but it's just
Yeah, well, that's the way they
named the
spell
kid
it.
Taylor.
See, Taylor is the name of a person, and Taylor is the name of a person who does a job. It's like haberdashery. Who'd want a name like haberdashery? But I bet there are people who have it.
Well, and Taylor's the name of a little sweet baby. Oh, I couldn't believe it. But of course, Mackenzie, that's another boy.
You can see that little arrow up there. The guy thinks I'm the FBI, but I'm really not. I know it, huh? No, I'm an old valley boy. I was the 5th person in the valley down here. Yeah, I worked at Alcoa down there in 42. They start building these places. I lived down on 27th Street down here, raised 8 kids down here. Does that sound a lot? You bet. Yeah, it was a special place, the valley was. There's another airplane over there, the flightway, I guess, from the change for the wind from the airport. So you never know where the airplanes are coming from for sound, but it doesn't bother me any. But the roofers will look up once in a while. They enjoy watching them fly. You can almost read the name of that hammer. He's pounding nails in, and loose nails and bent nails. They're doing a great job. They've done a great job in the back. I don't know whether I filmed that or not. They had that little porch in the back there, and old George Morrison and I, we went to the river and got lots and lots of sand, and he mixed that up by hand, old George Morrison did, and tried to pour a floor in there. It's pretty rough today because it was tremendously hot days, and through the years things deteriorate. So I'm really happy for Helen doing all this stuff for herself. The kids had kind of planned on doing it, and we all talked against it because you got to get permits, you got to get insurance and workman's comp laws, and you want to do something for the people you love, but sometimes you just can't do it because you can't even pick berries anymore and do a damn thing. You got the government's tied up everything with insurance and claims and health benefits for children and safety and danger in the fields and pesticides and lots of changes. 60 years down, 50 years down here, I'll guarantee you that. But these houses are all government houses, all #1 timber. They're the best wood there was in the forest. The start of the war effort there. A lot of people have come and gone through down here. Helen's been down here for 44 years, which is amazing. Where the years go. So these houses have been underwater and flooded. Last year, for example, we had to move Helen out of here because the water was in the field out here. Not knowing how much, how deep it was going to get, because they can't really calibrate all that. Pretty close they can, but Helen's house here was almost up to the top of the windows, if you can believe that, to the water. The river was about 14 miles wide right where this house is, and went over clean through Portland, through almost the Willamette River over there. Seen a lot of history here, lots of things happened here. Well, I'm going to go home now. Maybe someday if somebody will film this, or not film it again, but show it on their VCR sometime. Because I've got a lot of stuff from my life, and a lot of the Helen stuff, and the Morrison stuff, and another saga, another part of the journey. I just left a little while ago from my place, and I could hear children talking, but I couldn't locate them. And finally, after several minutes, I found them on the top of this tree out there. Just made my heart sink because they were about 50 feet in the air. Little tiny tykes. I got a ladder and got up in the tree there, my neighbor's tree, and so I never said anything to them, or because you say, "Hey, you," or "Get out of there," and they could be hurt to fall or get scared or some damn thing. But like children, they're very resilient, as I was. And so the last I saw them as I drove out of the driveway, they were down on the ground on a trampoline, so they were safe on the ground for a little while. So all of a sudden I decided to come down and try to film this for posterity. So I'm going to go home now, and it's Flag Day, July the 14th, 1997, and so this tape is just kind of pot meal stuff from our little Easter egg hunts and stuff in the valley. And my son Claude lives 2 or 3 blocks away over here. I should say Jesse is. He changed his name to Jesse from Claude. But he's working. He works down here at Alco, or Van Alco now. It's a new name for the aluminum plant. And there's a head over the top of this dumpster, but he's not hiding. The dumpster is several feet deep, and they're getting ready to slide the debris off the roof and then put it in his dumpster. And we had a little mind game going here that I was not the FBI, so we had a few laughs over that. So I filmed a little Helen's garden, what's left of the field for her. And a lot happened in a week. She lost her dog Charlie after 14 years or something like that, 13 and a half, beautiful dog. He just got old, I had to put it to sleep, and that's a sad time for us and for her. So she catches herself calling his name once in a while. Her name, Charlie, was a her, but her name was Charlie. I think Patsy gave her the name. So, beautiful day. So I'm going to go home and have a piece of cantaloupe. I bought several cantaloupe and hung one on Joanne's door, ice cold. Don't know where she is. So this is the last recording of Flag Day, July the 14th, 1997. Bye-bye. I'm filming this street sign again because the last time I filmed it, I don't think I turned the power on the camera. These things are too complicated for me every year. When you turn them on, you forget where all the buttons are. But if you can read this, we're on 31st and Xavier.